Hello and welcome to the history of Stargate. Today's episode will be covering the history of the Ori. And here we go. Originally known as the Alterans, they later learned how to ascend and use their knowledge and power as a justification and a means to demand the worship of mortal beings. When they learned such worship increases the power of ascended beings. Millions of years ago, the Ori lived together with the Ancients as a single, unified society in a distant galaxy, known as the Alterans. At some point, however, a split occurred among the Alterans. The Ancients began to devote themselves to science, while the Ori became increasingly religious. This division eventually became so great that the Ori attempted to destroy the Ancients. To avoid a war which was contradictory to their beliefs, the Ancients departed their home galaxy for the Milky Way. Even after they left, the Ancients and the Ori remained enemies. Dr. Daniel Jackson believes that the Ori were responsible for the plague that nearly brought the Ancients to extinction in the Milky Way and forced them to leave in Atlantis for the Pegasus Galaxy. Both the Ancients and the Ori eventually ascended, and the Ori passed on a religion called Origin to the next evolution of humans they created in order to increase their own powers, using their ascension and knowledge of the universe as justification for praise and worship, as well as including the promise of ascension to the lower beings that they never intended to deliver upon. In 2005, it was revealed that the Ori do not offer their followers ascension. They don't want to share their energy that they gain from the devotion of their worshippers. There is a real physical transfer of energy to an ascended being that occurs through a human being's belief in them. For it to have measurable effects, however, massive numbers of followers are required to relinquish their will. The system of energy transfer is one of the reasons the Ancients will not interfere with any life on the lower planes of existence. If the Ancients interfere, they are no better than the Ori. While the Ancients will attempt to stop the Ori from interfering in the Milky Way and possibly Pegasus, they won't stop the Ori elsewhere, and will not attempt to stop their human followers. Doing so would violate their own rules on non-interference with those on a lower plane of existence. One ancient named Merlin, however, was aware of the threat the Ori would one day present, and designed a weapon capable of neutralizing an ascended being. In 2006, the Ori managed to establish a link between their home galaxy and the Milky Way through a supergate, and sent 4 nearly invincible motherships to begin the conversion process. Though Stargate Command and the Atlantis expedition, the Tauri were able to make a connection between the supergate and a Stargate and Pegasus, managing to destroy one of the Ori ships. The Ori army continued unabated, while converting many civilizations to Origin and destroying those who refused to convert. The Crusade is led by Adria, the Orosai, an Ori in human form, so as to prevent the Ancients from stopping them. However, their real plan to destroy the Ancients may have cost them much more than they anticipated. When Adira discovered the location of the Sand Grail, it was learned that Morgan Le Fay has destroyed the weapon, but preserved Merlin so that he could recreate it when the time came. Merlin, too weak to continue, downloaded his consciousness into Dr. Daniel Jackson. Adria captured Jackson and hoped to use his knowledge to create the Sand Grail to destroy the Ancients so that the Ori would not have an even fight. However, Jackson intended to send the Sand Grail to the Ori home galaxy. With the help of SG1, the Sand Grail was sent through the supergate, along with Adria. At first, the Tauri had no knowledge of whether it worked or not. Several months after the Sand Grail was sent, Adira claimed that their attempt failed, while Baal, after taking Adria as a host, claimed that they were killed. Worse yet, sending the Sand Grail to the Ori galaxy allowed the Ori army to regain control of the supergate, and another 6 Ori warships were sent to the Milky Way. SG1 eventually discovered the fate of the Ori after traveling through the supergate on the Odyssey. Adria, appearing before Baal Duran from the Flames of Enlightenment as an ascended being, confirmed that the Ori were indeed killed by the Sand Grail. However, she alone inherited all of their power. Her triumph didn't last long. SG1 exposed the Docide to the Ark of Truth, instantly turning all priors in the galaxy away from Origin and stripping Adria of the majority of her faith-generated power. In Adria's weakened state, Morgan Le Fay was able to engage her in eternal combat, permanently neutralizing the Ori. With the Ori dead and Adria gone, SG1 used the Arc of Truth to reveal the truth about the Ori to everyone in the Milky Way galaxy, ending the crusade the Ori started. After the end of the crusade, the Ori army returned to their home galaxy, where they presumably disbanded for good. Hey, thank you for watching the History of Stargate. Special thanks to the SG Command and all contributors for all information you heard today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you can. If you have, I thank you. And have a nice day. Bye-bye!